Hey, this is Matthew with BI Polar. In this episode of Being a PM at Microsoft, I'm going to talk about the two main modes of PM work, which I often think about as marching and dancing. I promise it'll make sense. I hope you'll stay with me. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel or new to the series, please make sure you check out the introductory video where I talk about my goal for this series. Essentially, I've been a PM at Microsoft for over 15 years, and I want to share with you the advice that I wish someone had given me when I first started at Microsoft back in the day. Since I can't talk to my past self, I want to talk to people who are PMs at Microsoft today, who are in a similar role or at a similar organization, or people for whom being a PM at Microsoft is part of their career goals. And if this sounds like you, or if you just want to accelerate your career in tech no matter where you are, I hope that you'll stay with me. I think that this video and the others in the series will be valuable. Today's video, the title is a little weird, right? Like dancing and marching, what does this mean? A colleague years ago talked to me about the concept of starters and finishers. He essentially said that some people are better at starting and the work that's involved in establishing goals and starting moving towards those goals. And other people are better at actually delivering and wrapping up and shipping something to finish what was started. Over the years, I've come to think about things in a slightly different way, and I actually want to start off with an analogy. Imagine you are going to your high school prom. So close your eyes and picture yourself. You're standing in the parking lot. You can see the building off in the distance, and you start walking towards it. And as you get closer, you can start to hear the music. You can't make everything out, but you can hear the song, you can hear the rhythm. When you get inside, you open the doors, you can see where the dance floor is, who's dancing today. You can get the lay of the land. And as you walk closer to find your dance partner, the person that you will actually dance, whatever this dance happens to be, the closer you get, the more that you know. You know where they're standing. At some point, you grab their hands, you put your hand on their hip, you understand who's going to lead, who's going to follow, and then you need to apply the steps of the dance to the music with the partner in the room, and then you need to be ready to react and change to flow with this emerging situation that back when you were in the parking lot a minute or two ago, you didn't know any of the details that you know now. When I think about dancing, and when I think about dancing in the context of being a PM, this is very often how emerging organic work comes to you. Someone asks a question, someone pulls you into a meeting, or there's the semester planning process where you're figuring out where you're going to invest, what your team or what you personally will be responsible for the upcoming month or quarter or year. And in the moment, you're listening, you're learning, you're essentially trying to figure out all of these complex signals so that you can learn these steps of the dance and understand how to work with whomever your dance partners might be. This is the starter side of things, right? This is this emerging evolution of understanding so that you learn enough to take the next step. Marching, on the other hand, is further on, where you know what needs to be done. You've learned the steps, and you know the scale, the scope, the duration, you know where this needs to go. And it's more about doing things consistently, having process-driven approaches so that you can scale and automate and make things more efficient to make them more standardized and repeatable. Very often the dance up front is how you understand what the march downstream needs to be. And as a PM, these are the two patterns that I see again and again and again, where the emerging work is the dance that you don't know the steps to. It is the song that you haven't heard before, and you need to build that muscle and to be comfortable learning to listen to the right things so that you can take the right steps. And even though it's always awkward for the first few refrains, by the time that you're done, by the time that you're dancing, you're moving smoothly with your partner. And in this context, so I hope that you're with me so far. This is my personal mental model for this work. But in this context, I want to share 3 tips. And the first one is that these different skills and different approaches are needed at different times, regardless of your role and regardless of your team. Like sometimes you need to dance, sometimes you need to march. You need to be comfortable at evaluating the situation to understand, is this a place where I need to dance and spend my time figuring out what's going on? Or is this a time where I really need to march as quickly as possible? And to find that balance that fits the needs of the team and fits you as well. And when we're talking about fitting you, this is the second point. You're probably better at one of these than the other. For me, I am much more comfortable today dancing. I am in my happy place when I've got someone coming in, like some leader from another org that one of my leaders has dropped onto my plate, and I need to figure out like where they are and what their goals are, why they're on my calendar in the first place, to understand what success looks like for them, who's involved, what are their expectations, all of these things. I love this. And one of the leaders on my team, like, he hates this. Like, this is not his happy place, and he's getting better and better at it. But the beautiful partnership that I found with him is that I can dance and then hand somebody off to him when it's time to march, because marching is his happy place. And because every PM needs to do both, like, you will be better at one than the other, but you still need to do both. This gives you the opportunity to grow in both areas, but it also gives you the opportunity to understand, like, are you in the right place? If you think back to one of the first videos in the series on finding the right team, if you are a dancer and your role is 90% marching, this is the conversation to have with your manager to understand, how can I work on the things that give me energy, that give me joy, and that I'm going to be great at the first time, rather than having my day and my week consumed with things that are hard for me, that don't play to my strengths, and that drain my energy instead. The third tip that I want to share is that lots of PM work is interrupt driven, and you need to find a balance and a rhythm between dancing and between marching in your role day to day and week to week. Most of the time, if you own a feature, you've got the larger semester planning process that you need to align with. You've got your engineering teams and all of the other teams that you need to collaborate with. This is probably going to be more of a march, but day to day and week to week, or sometimes hour to hour, people are going to be coming to you with these random requests or changes in plans or expectations. There's always going to be something that catches on fire that you need to deal with in the moment, and finding the rhythm that works for you and works for your team, for you to march when you must and dance when you must without getting derailed. This is kind of the rhythm of career growth. You need to figure out what works for you to find that rhythm. Here's the deal. To be successful as a PM, you need to learn to identify what skill is called for in the moment, and to be prepared to respond, either directly or indirectly, for when you need to dance and when you need to march. And ideally, you will find the right team and the right collaborators, so that when the thing that is called for in the moment is not the thing that is your strength, you have someone to do the thing that is their strength, so that together you're delivering the impact, you're solving the problems, and you're growing in ways that give you joy, rather than slogging through doing the things that don't give you joy. I hope this is valuable. Either way, I hope to see you next week.